Yeah,
come here!
Call me baby right now.
I don't care, Tom. You come here.
I ain't done nothing wrong.
Drop the bat!
A neighbor complained that their grass was harmed by Mr. Yearout's four-wheeler.
They're cutting down through there and going through her yard. There's the four-wheeler. Quit driving it through their yard, man.
To whose yard?
The neighbors. We see the
I
tracks.
haven't been down through the yard. This is my yard.
They didn't do any research to see where the property boundaries were. They didn't get a warrant.
Get off my
I'll
land.
take your four-wheeler. Yep, come on, come to the door. You're going to jail. Let's go.
Y'all are on my land.
Come on, come on.
You talk such a big game. Come on, let's go.
This is my house.
This is our city. Come on.
They just came to his house, went onto his property, ignored his property rights, ignored his constitutional rights, came in his house illegally in violation of the Fourth Amendment, and then shot him inside his home, and did not film it on body cam. Now here is some brand new body cam footage from a police shooting from 2022. A federal lawsuit was recently filed, and the body cam footage was released to the local media from the plaintiff's lawyers. If you've watched many of my videos, you will immediately see what the police did wrong here. Besides shoot the guy, what is the constitutional issue that you're seeing in this body cam footage? You don't even need to wait all the way to the end. As soon as you see it, post it in the comments. I really would like to see that we're accomplishing something here. That even though cops can't grasp the Fourth Amendment, that the people on YouTube do. A man named Barry Yearout was shot and killed by the Princeton police in April of 2022. Officers had responded to a home on North 5th Street in Princeton after a neighbor had complained that Mr. Yearout had caused property damage to their yard with his ATV.
They're cutting down through there and going through her yard. There's the four-wheeler.
Now, the lawsuit says that the officers involved had ill feelings towards Mr. Yearout for negative posts that he had made on social media about local law enforcement. The body cam footage shows that when the cops arrive at the scene, Mr. Yearout is talking to them from inside his house, and he's talking or yelling through the window at them, and they're outside sort of in his yard. They're basically in his yard conducting an investigation. He's clearly aggravated with them. He doesn't want them there, and he's expressing that.
No, quit driving it through their yard, man.
To whose yard?
The neighbors. We see the
I
tracks.
haven't been down through the yard. This is my yard. That's my hill.
Not the back end of
There's
the...
an alley. Off and get out of my land.
Cool,
Get off my
I'll take
land.
your four-wheeler. Go ahead and call a tow truck. I'm taking your
You
four-wheeler.
talk my
It's in control.
I'm gonna you up.
Do something
Go
back
ahead,
there.
do
I'm gonna
something,
take
big
it.
boy. Come on.
220.
Just so that we're all on the same page here, officers are called out to a property damage call, which would be a misdemeanor. ATV driving through a neighbor's yard. When they get there, that is no longer occurring if it did occur. Mr. Yearout is inside his house. He's not running around on an ATV. He's within the most constitutionally protected place on the earth under the Fourth Amendment. He's inside his home, his castle. There is no arrest warrant. There is no search warrant, just a call from a neighbor. And then Mr. Yearout is communicating with the officers through his window. He tells them to leave.
Get off my land. There ain't been nobody's done nothing. You pulled your weapon at me.
Yep, come on, come to the door. You're going to jail. Let's go.
Y'all are on my land.
Come on.
Come on.
You talk such a big game. Come on, let's go.
This is my house.
This is our city. Come on.
From inside his house, or maybe that is a second-story balcony. At that point, I'm not sure. Mr. Yearout says, "This is my house. Get off my property." And one of the police officers can be heard saying, "Well, this is our effing city."
You talk such a big game. Come on, let's go.
This is my house.
This is our city. Come on.
Do you immediately recognize the problem here? Supreme Court jurisprudence extends heightened Fourth Amendment protections for your home, but not just the interior of the home itself, but also the curtilage of the home, which is the land immediately surrounding and associated with the home, because curtilage is considered part of the home itself for Fourth Amendment purposes. Oliver versus United States, U.S. Supreme Court, 1984. And the Fourth Circuit, where this happened, has made clear that a warrantless search of curtilage is presumed under the law to be unreasonable and therefore unconstitutional under the Fourth Amendment. That's Covey versus Assessor of Ohio County, 4th Circuit, 2015. It's basically a trespass-based analytical framework where a search occurs when the government, without a warrant, obtains information by physically intruding within the curtilage of a house. So a search occurs unless a homeowner has explicitly or implicitly sanctioned the government's physical intrusion into the constitutionally protected area, which Mr. Yearout clearly has not done here. The Fourth Circuit, again, where this occurred, where this is controlling law, made clear as early as 2001 that police officers will not be entitled to qualified immunity for failing to comprehend that police officers have no right to enter upon curtilage to make an investigation based on reasonable suspicion, like they're doing here. Rather, they're just limited to engaging in a knock and talk, which is not what this is. That's Rogers versus Pendleton, 4th Circuit, 2001. Additionally, the Fourth Circuit has made clear that searches of the curtilage require probable cause, even without regard to the law of trespass. So all these officers are able to do under the situation, constitutionally speaking, is to either go get a warrant or they can engage in a knock and talk, which is an exception to the warrant requirement. A police officer who does not have a warrant, all he can do is approach a home and knock, precisely because that's no more than any other private citizen may do. Critically, however, the right to knock and talk does not entail a right to conduct a general investigation of the home's curtilage, which is what these officers film themselves doing here. But you ask, police officers end up going into people's homes and shooting them all the time and they don't get in trouble for it, right? Well, there's a huge exception to the default constitutional presumption that many times applies, and that's called exigent circumstances. Basically, if it's an emergency type situation, if the cops are called there because there's some sort of emergency happening in a house, they don't have to get a warrant first, they can go in the house. Or if they observe some sort of exigency, they can go into the house then. But that doesn't apply here. A part of the lawsuit, at least the amended version that I have, it has a copy of the deposition transcript from the guy who ultimately went inside the house and shot Mr. Yearout. And he was asked explicitly whether he thought there was an exigency, and he said no. The lawyer asked, "There were no exigent circumstances in this case, correct?" His answer, "Correct." So there's no claim here to there being any exigent circumstances. Therefore, a warrant was definitely required, or consent, which clearly did not exist here. So despite not having a warrant, Officer Sievert just decides that he's going to make a warrantless arrest of Mr. Yearout, and he proceeds to go inside his house to arrest the man. A woman tries to stop him and says, "Don't come in." He basically pushes her out of the way, and he goes in anyways.
No. You're not coming in. You're not coming in.
Come on, rest her.
What?
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Quit.
What are you doing?
Quit. Put your hands behind your back. Quit.
What?
Quit. You're making it worse.
Once inside, Mr. Yearout is heard ordering the police to leave his house and warning them that he's making a call. Then the Officer Sievert, tells Yearout, who's not visible on camera, to, quote, drop the bat before firing shots.
You're not touching me. Quit.
Barry, come here!
Get out of the house!
Come here!
I'm telling you!
Yeah,
Come here!
I'm Tommy baby right now!
I don't care, Tom. You come here.
I ain't done nothing wrong!
Drop the bat!
Get out of my house!
Drop the bat! Barry, get down!
Princeton police officials said Mr. Yearout allegedly charged at the officer with an aluminum baseball bat and that the officer discharged his weapon. However, you can't watch the shooter's body cam footage because despite there being a policy with the Princeton Police Department that he was supposed to wear a body cam and it was supposed to be on and recording what was to happen, he wasn't wearing it. There is no footage from the officer who fired the shots. So we can't see. I just did several videos on when the police can shoot you when they're at your door. So I'm not going to go through all of that again, but it may not even make a difference here because where the shooting takes place is after the officer already illegally entered the home. And it appears that he rounds the corner and he's not legally where he's supposed to be. So while police officers under certain circumstances can use force, including deadly force, to seize somebody in order to arrest them, here there was no lawful justification to seize Mr. Yearout in the first place. That means that no force was authorized under the Fourth Amendment to seize Mr. Yearout. So it doesn't really matter whether it's excessive because 0% force was authorized under the Fourth Amendment. Now, if there was a warrant or if there were exigent circumstances, would a reasonable officer have had probable cause to believe that his life or someone else's life was in danger because of this man with the bat when he rounded the corner? But again, I don't believe that it even makes a difference at this point, because the officer Sievert at this point himself was an armed illegal invader, a burglar basically, inside this home. And apparently the plaintiff's lawyers have evidence that these particular officers were aware of who Mr. Yearout was and that they did not like him because of social media postings that he had made that were negative towards police. And they concocted basically a conspiracy to retaliate against him in some way. So perhaps when this four-wheeler complaint came in, now it's time to show him that he messed with the wrong people. As some of the cops were heard saying at the street cop conference in New Jersey, yeah, we're a gang. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. So they show up at his home with guns. They go in without a warrant and end up killing him. And we can see them retaliating against his First Amendment rights there when they're on the property. When he's telling them to leave and get off his property, when he's cursing at them, they're saying, this is our city, this is our effing city. And then they bust down his door and they come in his house. Really not a whole lot different than gang activity. So to wrap this up, a neighbor complained that their grass was harmed by Mr. Yearout's four-wheeler. They didn't do any research to see where the property boundaries were. They didn't get a warrant. They just came to his house, went onto his property, ignored his property rights, ignored his constitutional rights, came in his house illegally in violation of the Fourth Amendment, and then shot him inside his home and did not film it on body cam. And I would imagine there were no criminal charges against any of these officers, including the one who basically murdered a guy, because you mess with one of them, you mess with all of them, right? Including the ones like the state police who probably investigated this and cleared them of any wrongdoing. Yeah, the shooter is a criminal, but every other cop who was there and who helped cover this up and let him get away with it and escape accountability is even worse in my opinion. And if you want to help expose the truth and learn the truth, please subscribe both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. Remember, our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.